Associate in KPMG Kochi, CA Rahul Chandramogan, Senior Associate in PwC Bangalore. I also take this opportunity to welcome our Head of Department, Dr. B. Chitra, and our faculty members. Finally, it is you, my fellow mates, without whom everything stays incomplete. Once again, I extend my warm welcome to every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayashree. Now I request Jayashree to give a presentation regarding Big Four accounting firms.
A very warm evening to one and all present here. Today, I'm going to explain what the term Big Four means and which companies fall under this category. First of all, the Big Four, it is the nickname which is used to refer collectively to the four largest professional services networks in the world. So in this definition, we need to understand two terms. Firstly, the term largest. The companies that are largest in terms of workforce as well as revenue when compared to the rest of the market who are providing professional services. Now, what does the term professional services mean? It means services like auditing, assurance, taxation, management, consulting, actuarial services, corporate finance, and legal services. Now we have understood the basic concept of Big Four. That is the largest company who are delivering professional services. Now let's see what companies come under the category of Big Four. Firstly, PricewaterhouseCoopers, followed by Ernst & Young, third, Deloitte, and lastly, KPMG, Glenville Peet Marwick Godler. Now let us hear more about these companies from our chief guests. Thank you.
Now I would like to call Danusha from 2nd BCom PAB to introduce the chief guest.
I'm profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest, CABS Shantini ma'am. She's the senior executive of Ernst & Young India as our Batley Boy and Associates. She has also gained international experience by working for Ernst & Young in Kuwait. She's the Bachelorate of Commerce Professional Accounting in the PSG College of Arts and Science in the year 2012-15. She pursued to become a chartered accountant in the year 2018, and now being a CS finalist, her achievements are none other than the best. She has cracked the IPCC Intermediate and CPT Entry exams, being the district topper. She has got multiple honors, including the Best Outgoing Student of the Year 2015, secured the first rank in the BCom PA department. And not to forget, she was the only student from our college to be acknowledged by the secretary for serving as the Google Student Ambassador. It is a great honor to welcome you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I hope all are doing well. Am I audible? Just wanted to make that sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Should I on my video also? Can anyone instruct me on how to go about this?
You can on the video, ma'am. Shantini, this is Sugnavali, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Is it possible for you? In the sense, you can on it.
Okay. 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 Yeah. Hi. Good evening, everyone. And first of all, I would like to convey my thanks to the faculty and to my tutor, Lata ma'am, for extending me this opportunity to come here and talk with you all. And let me introduce myself. My name is Shantini, and I'm from PSG BCom PA from the set 2012 to 2015. And thank you all for coming in this Saturday evening, weekend evening, and letting us talk with you guys. I know it's a weekend and everything, but I hope somewhere along what myself and all the other three speak, you guys get some kind of idea about what Big Four is and how to go about it. Okay. Okay. So let me start by saying that I think most of you guys would have been started with CA. I think some of you guys would have been doing your CPT or your IPCC, or some might even be in your articleship if you're in your third year, that is. So let me, before going into the nooks and crooks of how you can get into a Big Four or what Big Four is all about, let me tell a little preface about what CA is, or I mean, like what is my experience with CA. Like as soon as I finished my 12th, all the option which is left in commerce is just to do CA, CS, or CMA. So the reason why I chose CA was, frankly, it was the most lucrative job, and it was at such a respectable job at that time. So without having much more idea into that, I got into the field. And once you get into the field, you'll get to know, and after you go through your course, you'll get to know how much importance is given to that field and how much it will affect your life also. Because I was also a person who was like, what is CA? Because I didn't have an idea. I just got into commerce and we proceeded it in that way. So after getting into that, I just want to say one more thing. Like if you're doing your CPT or IPCC and it's not your first attempt, you have given more than one attempt. I just want to tell that it is not a big deal. Like your end goal is to become a CA. It doesn't matter like how many attempts you do or how many pitfalls was there in that way. Because as I was introduced before, I was a CPT as well as IPCC district topper, but it took me my finals like 4 attempts to clear my finals. Yes. It was such a big news, like in the sense like everyone around you will be having that connotation that if you're not clearing in the first or second attempt, your life is going to be doomed or your CA opportunities are going to be lowered. Now, frankly, let me tell you one thing, that yes, your opportunities are going to get lowered, but that is not the end of it. Now coming to Big Four. If you go into a Big Four, the first thing they ask for is, are you a first attempter or a second attempter? And in some cases, when there is like a need for more resources, they might even permit for third attempt. So me being a fourth attempter, it was very difficult for me to even get into the realm of Big Four, So what happened was, you have to grab onto the opportunity, whatever way you get it. Uh, Everyone will tell you about how to go about CA or what you have to study to get there. But one thing practically you guys have to know is, after you clear your CA, everyone will have an idea to either join the Big Four or industry through campus, CA campus. So this experience I wanted to share with you, like what happened in Chennai. If you want to get into the Big Four, let me just tell you that if you're more than a third attempter or even second attempter, if you go into the first day of the campus, all the Big Fours, mainly EY, KPMG, Deloitte, mainly these three in Chennai, they come to the campus and they have an idea of hiring only the people who have cleared in first or second attempt. So the first tip I want to give to you guys is, if you get a chance, if you get even a little slight chance from the coordinator who is there in the campus to conduct the interview, that you can attend the interview, please attend the interview. Because according to me, if you become a CA, if you get into the Big Four for the first 2 years of your freshly qualified CA, that experience which you get in Big Four, that is like unsurmountable amount of importance everywhere you go. Because Big Four not only teaches you how to be like active, it teaches you how to manage your time, it teaches you how to take pressure, and I don't even have to say about this, it teaches you how to handle different type of people, and mainly the name you get, the tag you get, as per, I mean, for example, if you get as a big four before you go into pursuing into an industry, that will take you everywhere. So my advice for all of you is to get at least 2 years of experience in big four. That would be my first advice. The second one is, yeah, as soon as you get into the campus, if you get even a slight chance of getting into the Big Four interviews, just go for it. But the way I got into the EY experience was not in my first attempt of interview. I got through my second attempt of interview. You know what? I'll tell you what happened in my first attempt of interview. The thing is, I was not prepared to go into an auditing firm. I was prepared to go into an industry firm, and I specifically, prepared my interview as well as the questions which would be asked to the interview in respect of going to that industry. But let me tell you, if you're going to a Big Four industry, I want you guys to all prepare well in auditing, because no matter if your line of thought is to go into tax, people in Big Four, especially the hirers who are ready to hire you from the campus, are almost focused on auditing. So get your auditing basics right. And it's like a running joke among all the people who work in Big Four that the main importance, like wherever they go, is tell what are the assertions, how do you explain the assertions, give a real life example. Assertions in the sense like completeness, measure completeness, existence, all the five, rights and establishment, everything. So get your assertions right. That is the one thing I would say. And whatever it is, give your thoughts carefully. And one more thing is, in your articleship, there is like a very common thread which is going on around here. Like, if you're putting your all efforts on finals, at least in the last year of your articleship, the amount of experience or the amount of work which you do in your firm will definitely reduce. So you guys might have a doubt in your mind, like whether this will affect my big four, getting into big four or everything. But just be honest with the person who's coming to recruit you. Give a example of how you have handled things in your articleship and how you have managed to get through the busy tax season. And one more thing is, like, if you have done only this much, give them the right answer in a polished way, like you have done only this much, but at the same time prove to them that you're theoretically strong in all the respects. Like, for example, I'm telling you, the main thing people look at you is how do you go about your auditing. And yeah, that's all I can say about the interview process. One more thing is, like, the major doubt even before I got into the big four scenario was which line of core, which line of business or which line of work should I get into, because there is audit, there is tax, there is advisory, everything. What I have generally observed is, if you're getting into audit and down the line you feel like audit is not for you and you want to switch over to a different line, for example, tax, after 2 years, you can do that. But if you get into tax, switching to audit or some other thing is a little difficult. It is not impossible, it's a little difficult, because tax is a very niche subject. It's like people who are very well versed in taxes less, like that. So if you're not sure about what line you want to go into your future, like what line you want to get into, I would always advise to start with audit, because from audit the switch over to other things can happen seamlessly, but from other roles to audit, it's a little difficult. So yeah, that's what I would say if you're going to start in a big four. And after getting into big four, obviously you'll have your pressure, you'll know how to handle your people, and mostly you'll know different types of work you can do, not just in one. For example, if you're getting into trading, not just that, manufacturing, you can get into core finance. It all depends upon the type of work you're able to take. Yeah, other than that, one more thing which I would like to say is, during our articleship, try to get into a different lines of work, so that at least you know the basics of it and at least you can figure out what you want for yourselves. Yeah, that's all I can say from my end. And thank you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very thought-provoking session. It is my privilege to have been asked to welcome the man of knowledge, Sir Shyam Varadarajan, CPA. He was the student of Commerce, Professional Accounting in the PSG College of Arts and Science in the year 2015. Further, he did his PGDM in Financial Management in the Annamalai University in the year 2019. He has a prior work experience of being an audit lead associate of Ernst& Young GST, and now he is currently working as an audit senior in the Deloitte India offices of the United States. He indulges himself in executing audit plans and working on complex areas like carried interest, SOI, side pockets, etc. We take the utmost pleasure in welcoming you, sir.
I think our audio got cut off. Hello, am I audible, guys?
Yes, it is audible, sir. It's audible.
Hello.
It is audible.
Kana audible,
Yes.
audible.
Okay,
Shyam,
okay.
audible.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Just on the video.
Hi guys, I'm Kyamal Rajan. At first, I'd like to thank the faculty for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of my class, BCom PA. I studied BCom PA from PSC and graduated in 2015. As a part of my curriculum, I did my internship in 2014 with KSG Subramaniam and Co., where I learned all the basics of audit. It actually helped me get into EY through campus placements, where I served clients from Bahamas and the Caribbean region. I now have 4 years of external audit experience specializing in wealth and asset management clients. I took a year break, interestingly, in 2018 to finish my CPA, and then I joined Deloitte as an audit senior in the US financial services practice. All the clients that I've worked under have more than 300 billion USD of net asset value, and they serve as one of the most leading asset management companies across US and North America and Europe. They also have presence all over the world, and they set a tone at the top level. So what I'm trying to tell you guys here is, if you work in a big four like a company like Deloitte, you would get all the exposure that you need to become the right professional in the auditing environment. So I'd like to touch base on 5 points today. One is, for all entry-level graduates, any big four that tries to come and hire you would expect you to be proficient in aptitude. Second point that I would like to touch base is regarding the Big Four environment. How life in Big Four is, what are the benefits that you get, what is the career growth, how do you approach work when you join office, what are all the benefits that the company that hires you gives you. So these are all amazing, yeah. And one more important point that I'd like to touch base upon is how to build connections, and the best platform for it is LinkedIn. I'm not sure how many people here are using LinkedIn as a professional platform to grow connections. If you have very important connections from the right companies, anyone can hire you and you can easily go into a big four, start your career there, and then shape your life thereafter. So for aptitude, like every company would conduct that as a first round to just filter out data, because there are 800 applicants. There will not be enough interview time or number of places there to conduct people for 800 people, conduct an interview for 800 people. So that's why they filter through aptitude. And what companies like Deloitte and EY or any other big four for that matter expect you is to be very proficient in English and basic math. So there are certain websites that the company actually sources out questions from. These are IndiaBix, Aptipedia, Lafoya, and Informats. So these are all 4 websites that would probably give you the best understanding about how an aptitude round would be conducted. If you guys can ace through this interview, then it all depends on how you face the interview in person with an interviewer. So for example, like my line of service is audit and assurance. So I probably talk about assurance. So when you try to give an interview for an assurance role, they'll expect you to know about what an audit is, what is an audit opinion, and since I work in the US offices, they expect you to know a little bit of US GAAP, US generally accepted accounting principles. So when you apply for a role in the offices of the US in Deloitte, you'll have to, they expect you to know about US GAAP, what an unqualified opinion is, what an unmodified opinion is, when do you give a disclaimer opinion, and when is it an adverse opinion. So when you are sure about how to read a financial statement, you'll easily able to execute tasks and then understand about how each number turns out to be that number in that financial statement. That is what their expectation would be when they try to hire a source from any college for that matter. So this is what Deloitte does in terms of hiring. And if you get into Deloitte, you'll probably have the best experience at any other audit firm that has ever given, like, because in terms of exposure as well, in terms of work ethic, in terms of flexible life balance and everything. So once you get into Deloitte, everything would be on the job training. They'll train you first for a week or 2, and then they'll put you on an engagement wherein you'll serve one of the top asset management companies or a top technology company in Europe or the US. So once you get there, you'll have
Check.
Hello. Oh, sorry guys, I got cut off in the middle. I'm not sure why. Yeah, so like I said, probably when you get into Deloitte as a first year audit associate, you'd probably be given basic jobs on auditing so that you understand the concept of auditing on real-time basis. And then second year, you'd probably be given more assignments that involves auditor's judgment. Suppose they give a topic to work on called risk assessment that involves a lot of auditor judgment. So they'll also train you to go into all these professional resources that Deloitte has to train all these professionals the best policies and practices they have. It's called, we have a technology called Deloitte Technical Library wherein you'll be able to get all these accounting and auditing updates. So that is how a professional firm would want you to be updated with the industry, the primary industry that you're working on. And when you work in audit, you don't only work in audit. Suppose in my area, I work as an investment management senior. So in my line, I get to work with advisory professionals for valuation of investments. So that is a cross utilization of your audit knowledge. And what will happen there is you'd be able to know about 2-3 service lines. And if you're really interested in one of the service lines when you're working on an audit, you'd be able to get transferred to that service line, gain more knowledge, and you can continue in that same service line if you want, or change back to audit. So when you go from audit to another service line, it's always easy, like Shantini pointed out. But if you have a niche like specialization like tax or valuation model advisory, it's very difficult for you guys to get into audit because audit requires a different terms of knowledge. You have to be updated with everything. You have to be updated with advisory. You have to be updated with audit knowledge. You'll have to know what the tax consequences are in an audit. So you'll be updated with all the sectors if you work in audit and if you start your career in audit. That is why most people get their career started with audit, and then I've known a lot of people who are chartered accountants or certified professional accountants or ACCAs who change their professions and they're also successful. It all depends on how much of an effort you put into an audit in the first 3-4 years, how much of it you learn in those 3-4 years. Because when you're in a third year audit associate or as audit senior assistant in Deloitte, you would be expected to work like a senior, which means you'll have to know about all these engagement terms. You'll have to know who the important client contacts are. You should be able to talk to the client independently, execute work on your own. You should not expect a lot of on-the-job coaching from seniors, because next year you'll become a senior. Then you'll have to coach all your junior professionals. So that is how they'll equip you in the first 2 years, and third year they'll test you as an audit senior who is a supervisor. So that you'll be an assistant audit senior helping all the seniors on all these important tasks. So when you're able to get to that level and then learn from that, you'll have so much knowledge. And then if you want to go into advisory or consulting or tax or whatever, like, you'll be able to easily get into them. So that is what audit as a starting career provides you with, and joining a Big Four and then starting an audit career would definitely be an advantage. Because when I graduated in college, I just got through an EY as a campus placement, and I was hired as an audit associate. A lot of people who got hired with me didn't join, but I still continued in that path because I knew I was not going to be a chartered accountant. I didn't think that was the right fit for me. But in EY, I had another opportunity. I had a chance to finish my CPA there with EY. The firm sponsored my CPA. They'll get you all the materials that you need. Any Big Four for that matter. They'll pay for your visa. They'll pay for your exams and everything. You just have to study and pass the exam, which is quite a decent amount of deal that you get from a Big Four accounting firm. So we know that, like, work would definitely be hectic when you join a Big Four, but again, there are pockets wherein you'll not have any workflow, like 3 months in a year or 4 months in a year. And that too, as a first year audit associate, definitely have a lot of time to concentrate on CPA or their ACCA. That is what the US offices provide, basically. Deloitte only provides CPA, but all of the Big Fours provide ACCA and CPA as a method of curriculum for them. So if you guys want to do that, you can do that too. I was there in audit for 2 years, understood all the basic things in audit. Then I took a break, finished CPA, and then joined Deloitte. So those 2 years of experience in audit, tax, and other fields, assurance, helped me gain very important knowledge, which helped me crack the exam as well. So you would probably get that experience only if you get into a Big Four or a Big Five, Grant Thornton. But I'm not sure how many people would want to go there when Big Four is the best option that you guys have. So that's about how you can thrive in Deloitte. So the next point that I probably want to touch base with you guys is regarding connections in LinkedIn. I'm sure a lot of people do not use LinkedIn as a platform for building professional network right now. But if you guys are able to successfully open an account and then be active and find right kind of contacts, you would easily be able to build a pathway to get into a Big Four auditing firm or an accounting firm for any role for that matter. Some might be interested in audit, some might be interested in tax. So no matter what the service lines are, interest are, you can easily get into each of these accounting firms through LinkedIn connections. Suppose if senior manager of a firm recommends you, they definitely have to give you an interview opportunity. Something like that. So you'll have that extra privilege with you guys if you build the right amount of network. So make sure you guys are making use of all these internet platforms that you guys have, because when we were graduating, we didn't have very strong platforms like these. But now you guys can easily get into all these platforms, create an account, be active, do what's necessary to get into a Big Four, and then you can start your journey from there. That's what I'd probably like to say regarding these connections. It would definitely help you getting the right prospect. There are so many people who can guide you to what you can probably do after your professional qualification is done. Or even if you don't want to do your professional qualification like CA or CPA, they'll give you alternate career paths if you're interested in that. Some people might be interested in CFA if they're interested a lot in finance. So some people might be into financial risk management. There's a course for that. So everywhere there are opportunities. So if you get the right mentor through a social platform like LinkedIn, it'd be really helpful in shaping your guys' career. Because I might probably speak about audit today, but some people here might not be interested even in audit. They probably want to get into consulting or tax. So all these LinkedIn connections would help you get into all these career paths. They'll help you get the necessary growth that you need, guys. So trust me, it's a great platform to grow your contacts. And then I'd like to talk about the benefits and the career growth and the flexibilities that you get when you join Deloitte as a professional services firm. So like in addition to all the exposure that you probably get, I would probably say it's the best exposure that you get, because if you guys see the growth that Deloitte had amid COVID, it's 48 billion in profit. That's probably because we deliver the best quality of work and we do it the right way. That's what we always believe in. So I think Deloitte as a professional service firm would add great value to your resume, even if you want to go out and explore other areas in the future, like move into an industry. You can specialize in corporate finance, you can specialize in mergers and acquisitions and everything. So Deloitte probably would give you the best platform to learn everything. It gives you the best exposure. Then you can go from there and then shape your career however you want it. So I would say, like, in terms of flexibility as well, Deloitte is great. You can work wherever you want, whenever you want, and then, like, as long as the engagement deadlines are compliant and you're compliant with every other Deloitte policy, you're free to do whatever you want. So that is Deloitte as a professional services firm, and I think it would definitely add the greatest value. It will even enable you international opportunities. I'm sure most of people are interested in. So with the CPA through Deloitte and an international opportunity, if you are there in the firm long enough, would shape your career in the next level is what I would say, because that is the exposure that you probably get from the member firms as well. If you are in the India office of the US, you'll probably be here for 3 years. And then if you want to go to London, and then if there is a right business requirement and the opportunity, they'll definitely go help you get relocated there. And then you can probably work as a senior or manager there for 2-3 years and then come back to India. If you want to go from UK to the US, like, that is also possible. Like, that's how the firm also are flexible and are supportive of movement from people from India to abroad places if they actually are interested in. But one thing that they actually want you guys to be is that like, you guys should be at top of the level. Like, your performance should be rocketing sky high, because they would only want the best person to go from an India office to the London office or US office where there are very important operations going on. So that is one check they would definitely do. But again, if you guys are, like, interested, we can probably try help you get into these career paths so that you will definitely benefit out of it. So by that, I'd probably say thanks, guys. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, faculty, for giving me the wonderful chance to talk about my firm and about CPA prospects. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative. Taking our evening further, here is Satya from 3rd BCom PAA to introduce the chief guest.
It is a great honor in introducing Mr. Bhagavati Raj, a person who has serious interest in exploring new places and also got a stunning academic records. He completed his schooling in Sri Shakti Metric Higher Secondary School in the year 2012. He pursued his BCom in Sri Krishna Arts and Science College and done his MBA in Bharatiyar University, and recently completed his master's in corporate secretaryship with PSG College of Arts and Science in the year 2018. He is well versed in accounting and finance, US GAAP, which is standard for financial reporting and taxation. He worked as an secretarial assistant in a practicing company secretary office for 1 year. Currently, he is a partner of BG Associates and is working as Associate Level 2 in KPMG for 2 years. His achievements include being a winner in zonal level ball badminton, completing institutional training in BSc, qualifying in National Accounting Talent Search, and being applauded for Best Client Service in KPMG. It is a pleasure to have you in our midst, sir, and the session is yours, sir.
That's too much introduction for me, Satya. Anyways, thank you for that. Am I audible, guys? Hi?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
Can I just
Hi,
start your
everyone.
video?
Hi, everyone. Hope you all doing good. Actually, PSG College is doing a great job on this, connecting us all together and knowledging you about the Big Fours. Firstly, I thank PSG College management, faculty members, and coordinators for organizing this and giving me this opportunity. So there is a chance few people might know me because it's been just 2 years I passed out from PSG college. So when Sugunavalli ma'am contacts me and asks whether you can do this, I was likely saying no due to tight deadlines. Yes, I don't want to waste your time and my time. I'm straightly coming to the point. I'm into US taxation. We do tax filings for individuals, corporates, partnerships, estate trusts, etc. And this is a filing season going for us. Uh, you guys might wonder, having a corporate secretaryship as a background, how did I get into this? I also have MBA in finance. During college days, I was more interested into taxation. I do ITR 1, 2, and GST returns. I had only basic understandings of that. So I used to do that in during my college days. So that knowledge helps me to get into this job. And if you are looking for job opportunities in taxation, I would strongly suggest you guys to learn ITR 1, 2, and GST returns, Indian taxation knowledge. That would help you a lot in interviews. So if you have CPA qualification or EA qualification, that would be really a great plus. After entering into KPMG, they are also asking us to do EA and CPA qualifications. It's not mandatory to get into the job, but if you have that, that would be an add-on. We also have on-site opportunities. They will send you to US or any other client location and ask you to work with them. So that time, if you have this qualification, that would be an add-on. And yeah, even if you are jobless during this pandemic time, that would help you a lot. Don't miss any opportunities. Competition would be very high at this time, and keep learning whatever you are possible to learn. Mostly in the interview part, they would ask us about Indian taxation only, because even though the hiring is for US taxation, they ask Indian taxation knowledge because more or less both are same. Uh, yeah, but US taxation concepts are wider. No, as yeah, we can't learn that in a short time period. It takes a time. It would be like a lifelong journey. So to my knowledge, KPMG is not coming to on campus or off campus in and around Coimbatore. If you are a job aspirant with KPMG, if you like to develop a career with KPMG, you should attend interviews that happens in Bangalore location or Kochi location. Uh, Mostly KPMG goes for campus hiring only in North India. And when I attended the interview, I had 4 level of rounds, I guess, two on technical and one communication and one HR rounds. To me, interview was very easy. Technical level is one is on written and the other is with manager. They were asking mostly everything about the basic concepts of Indian taxation. And in the communication level, they would test our knowledge on listening, speaking, grammars, like us. So that would be very easy. And so always do an self analysis before giving a try on interview, because you can find out where you are lacking, and you can find out the lacking area and work on that before going for an opportunity. And without developing ourselves looking for opportunities, that does not work. I would suggest Big Fours and investment banking firms for good career growth for economics, commerce, mathematics, statistics, account students. Uh, yeah, if you have a forum or some other certification courses are there like CFA, the investment bankings would ask for those certifications. So if anyone is doing that, that would be a plus for investment banking job opportunities. So any questions, guys? If you have any questions, you can ask to me, because this is the right time. You won't get such opportunity connecting with all the big four alumni. Okay, hope no questions. If you would like to connect with me personally, or if you want any career guidance, uh, personally, if anyone hesitate to ask here or not comfortable speaking here, you can ping me in Instagram or Facebook. I'll just post my LinkedIn ID here, LinkedIn and Instagram IDs. So you can follow me there. So really happy with you, really happy with speaking you guys, and definitely due to tight deadlines, I'm getting back to work. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I take immense pleasure in introducing CA Rahul Chandramohan, who likes to take initiatives and seek opportunities out of every challenge. He is an enthusiastic, young, and motivated chartered accountant with great leadership qualities. He is expertised in statutory audits, indirect taxation, income tax planning, and income tax audit. He holds exemplary academic records. He scored 98% in his board examination, completed his BCom PA degree by the year 2017 in our very own college, and has become an chartered accountant at his age of 21 in the year 2019. He worked as an articled assistant in a CA firm in Coimbatore for 3 years and is currently working as a senior associate in PwC Core Assurance Bangalore. His achievements include clearing CA Inter with district second rank, receiving dazzling debutant award for the accomplished performance in the first year in the Big Four, and accomplished scholar award from Vikas Vidyalaya for his excellence in financial reporting and chartered accountancy. He has presented papers for ICAI conferences and has given career guidance for the passed out students for the year 2018-19. We are privileged to have you, sir, and I request you to take over, sir.
Hi, thank you, Satya. So that was a very brief introduction. So I would like to thank Mr. Gopalakrishnan, Managing Trustee, Dr. D. Brinda, Principal PSG CAS, Umarani, Faculty in Charge, Chitra Ma'am, HOD, and the organizers Kalai Selvi Ma'am, Sugnavalli Ma'am, Govind Sir, and Lata Ma'am for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And also I would like to thank my fellow speakers. And this is an exciting moment for me, and as well as a responsible moment where, it was not very long time that I used to sit in the other side and listen to the guest lectures and, the people who have accomplished something to give from their end and we receive something. So it is really exciting that I am in this side. So before I could start up my, lecture, I would want you guys to fill up the form that is on the chat box. So with that response, I could go further. Yeah, I've got 77 responses already. Yeah. Around 60% are interested in chartered accountancy and 36% is in the other non-professional courses, which I would like to presume MBA or business. And awareness about Big Four. Okay, half of the population is aware of the Big Four. Thank you. And the major idea of your guidance would be on, yes, I get it, that apart from the studies, what you would like to concentrate on, and on when and how to get into a Big Four. Yeah, got it. And looking at the 5 years career, yes, you pretty much around 45 people are aware and they have a clear plan. Good to know. Good to know. And managing articleship and college would be, yes, I agree, this would be difficult, and I could see moderate things. Okay, thank you. And the medium of communication, Tamil, English, both. Okay, both. Thank you. With this, I would start up my presentation. Thank you. So, guys, I could understand from the major of the crowd is into chartered accountancy. So I think you initially have gotten into the dream that you want to be a professional, and you want to score big in life. You want to be a better person. Yeah, I get it. So to get that dream into place, you need a proper plan, which you had entered into in a particular professional course, or even in the half of the population, I could understand even into the MBA or the other courses. So good to know. So you guys have gotten into a dream and you have entered into the plan. I get it. So for this to achieve, you must, devise particular goals in such a way that you are achieving one by one at every stage. So I could see on the level of clarity that you have about your future, like you should plan in such a way that you guys are aware of your next 5 years, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be. So if you are clear on that plan, you can devise that plan into a particular goal. So I think major of your students might be in college first year, second year, or third year, whatever the case might be. So you might be into foundation or inter. So considering the I'm just going with the majority of the population is in inter or foundation. You guys will have over the 5-year period, like you could qualify chartered accountancy and you could be a chartered accountant. So, or any other course as per matter, you could be clearing MBA and joining into corporate life. So as far as the goal is concerned, you should break that into individual tasks. So individual task breaking is really very simple, but only thing is consistency should be the key. So if you're planning something, you should stick on to it, and you might not, you should not deviate from it. That is what the major thing is. So if I'm doing, if I'm preparing inter right now, I should make sure that I'm clearing 8 groups. That would be my goal. So, sorry, 8 papers. So that would be my goal. In order to achieve that goal, what task should I achieve? You should break that down into, simple things such that your career path will be, the growth of your career path will be very accelerating and you could achieve things in a real time. Yes. So how to go about it? So I could understand major of you guys are from professional background. I would like you guys to not only focus on the technical capabilities. I could understand that the technical capabilities is something that you will achieve over the studies that you perform. But the other 3 major things are, all the other legs as equal as you have technical capabilities. Going forward to the global acumen. So what global acumen means is that you have an understanding and you possess the knowledge of something that happens globally. I'll go with my own profession. Being a chartered accountant, I must know whatever happens around the world, be it any scam or be it any update that comes around the world. Let's say, for example, this December, ICAI is going to announce this forensic standards. If I'm aware of this now, so if I would be really ready to be paced upon with the diverse changing environment, and I could achieve whatever I wish to. This global acumen is something that you will achieve only when you develop this relationships. Relationships is something that you establish connections. See, as a chartered accountant, being in practice or in employment doesn't mean you should be a introvert kind of a person and not have connections. The more connections you have, the more opportunities you'll get. For example, if I'm having more connections, from those connections, I'll get major clients. So you should develop your relationships and you should establish connections. Like my earlier speakers have addressed, the LinkedIn is one of the way. So you could develop relationship in such a way such that you can develop and grow professionally. The 4th thing is business acumen. Business acumen is something that you will achieve only when you relate your studies to something that is happening in the reality. For example, you are reading about a standard. Let's say going with the auditing standard. You study about an audit report. You should be really thorough that. Pardon? So business acumen, so as people, you might be knowing of the audit report that you are reading under SA 700, relating it to the real life listed companies audit report. When you refer that, your studies will align to the business changes that is happening in the environment. That will help you and develop a business sense that will enable you to grow professionally. These 4 things are really, really important for you to grow as a professional. See, like to get into a big 4, you must need all these 4. Doesn't matter that you are, technically capable. You will be technically capable, but this global acumen, business acumen, relationships, and one more thing, you should develop the habit of communication, and you should develop all the way of communicating such that you are easily approachable and you will be helpful. So that all these 4 factors will help you grow as a professional and will get you into the Big Four. Yeah. So next one I wanted to discuss about is the SMART goals. So your goals should be smart. As we discussed earlier, this goals things should be smart. SMART is an acronym that is used globally to devise your goals. It should be specific. See, I'm preparing inter now. I want to prepare. I want to prepare 8 papers. I have a period of 9 months. This I should be very specific and to the point, such that I'll be able to achieve that goal. Next point will be measurable. That should be measurable. See, 8 papers in a period of in a span of 9 months. So if in the span of 9 months covering 8 papers is doable, so such that this should, the doable thing is the assignable concept. So you should be that should be, the task should be assignable such that it is easily achievable. Next one is relevant. The goal should be relevant, and that should help you grow as a professional. Then time based. As I had mentioned earlier, it should be like for the period and how am I going to go about it. If you are planning this on the SMART basis, I think it will be easy for you guys to prepare and present yourself in a better way. Yeah. So these were a few kinds of questions that I got from you guys. So addressing which firm to choose for articleship. See, your articleship period is an internship period where you should like to learn everything. So in Big Four, if you go for a Big Four, I'll explain you how things work in a Big Four. So you will have high pressure for sure. You will have to work around like 7 to 8 hours, but on a very stringent timeline, you might have to extend yourself. But the thing is, you will get the corporate exposure. You will grow as a person. You will enable yourself to a bigger extent that you will express yourself more. And as a professional, you can grow pretty much. And the size of the entities that you look into will be huge and enormous, such that when you start preparing for your examinations, this numbers look small. When you prepare for the examinations, that will be very small questions, and this you would have addressed in your practical experience of the 3 years, such that it will be easy for you guys to prepare for the examinations as well. But I would like to put in a disclaimer that there will be pressure, there will be stringent deadlines, but there will be the amount of work that you do will be really to tell you, it will be tentative and you have to work on. That's it. But the first year it will be hard, but going forward it will be really, really easy and you will love it. That's what the thing that brings in. And going to the next concept, when you come to a Big Four, you should choose your area of expertise and you should establish yourself in a specialized way. I'm a specialist in statutory audit and tax audits. So I got into assurance because I could audit the company as a whole. So so people wise, if you go for yourself, you should think about something that will suit you. Like for example, assurance suits me, or taxation suits me, or internal audit suits me, or transfer pricing. Your interest will develop on the basis of the subject that you like and the subject you excel at. So once you find that subject, that will help you enable in choosing the area of expertise and will get you to the Big Four. And how to go about the extra mile that is necessary. Like I told you earlier, normally the technical capabilities alone won't be sufficient for you guys to get into a Big Four or excel somewhere. See, I got into PwC in the first year, so my performance was good. Like it was good that not only technical capability was not enough, I should know about the business as well. During my articleship, I got to work with few automobile industry. I got the business acumen that I could deploy into the work-wise, such that it was very easy for me to work. So likewise, you should develop on the 4 points that I have addressed earlier to go about the extra mile that which normal people stop at the technical capability. This will enable yourself to grow as a professional in your career. Please remember all those 4 points that I have addressed earlier. Next, what is necessary for a public accounting? This is not much. Basically, you need to understand the generally accepted accounting procedures, taxation norms. That is pretty much covered in your normal studies. So, to go into a big four, there might be two kinds of interviews. Most probably you might get into a walk-in, which they'll announce in their websites, or you might know someone, like I had mentioned in the earlier, you might have some relationships or connections, those who are already into one of the big four, that will help you refer yourself, and you might get into the big four. So this is what you need, either connections or to know about the business, how things work, and how do you sell yourself. See, I used to work with US people, UK people around the country, and the thing I got to know was we Indians sell ourselves for less. So the thing is, you should grow yourself, but you might have all the knowledge in the world, and you might know whatever from the book. If I'm asking you from page 1 to page 700, I know every single line and everything I know, but that won't be, the interviewer won't know you unless you sell yourself and unless you express yourself. To express yourself, I want you guys, to go into the business as deep as you could, study into the concepts as deep as you could, that will enable you to obtain an understanding. See, you have law, you have auditing, you have income tax. So going in the law, if you go for a contract act, there will be like 3 years time bar. That you should link to your auditing, where you audit for any receivable or payable. That time bar limit you should remember. Or if you are reading SA 700 in auditing, and or any other standards as for that matter, that you should relate to the every other acts or laws. That will enable you. That linking concept is very, very important. That will help you, to prepare for the examinations in an easier way. I would always suggest you guys, to in a better way to prepare yourselves. You should link subjects and prepare. That will help you to clear your examinations as well. About CA journey, I just wanted to express my CA journey. I just wanted to end this by a small note of my CA journey. I am a student like you. I was a student like you in PSG CAS, and I used to do my articleship at the same time, and I cleared everything in my first attempt. So what happened is, during my second and third year, I couldn't stay in Coimbatore, so I had to travel from Tirupur to Coimbatore every single day. My journey used to be like, I'll start somewhere around 5:30 in the morning. I'll board the bus and come to Coimbatore by 7 o'clock. I attend college, and it will end up by most probably 10 in the case of final year, and 12:30 in
It's not audible.
Rahul? Kana Rahul? Kana என்னாச்சுப்பா?
வாய்ஸ் கேட்கல, நெட்வொர்க் ப்ராப்ளம் நினைக்கிறேன், கொஞ்சம் செக் பண்ணுங்க.
Yeah, I'm back. Yes, so sorry, I was discussing, can you tell me the point where I disconnected myself?
From third year you went to 3 up to 12.
Yeah, thanks man. So like in the point of third year, I was like traveling myself and pushing myself too hard, that I was to a stage of breaking down myself. I hope those things doesn't come to you guys, and you have a plenty of opportunities around. You have like better faculties, you have better learning opportunities, and you could grow yourself as a professional. So this phase of life is the hardest point. Once you clear this, I mean, I won't tell you that this will get easier, but the path that you have crossed will be cherishable for your lifetime, and it will be, help you, to embrace the future in a better way. So I wish you guys all the best, and I hope you guys grow as a professional as well, and hope all the very best for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. It was a very useful session. I would like to thank all of you for spending time with us and giving the right guidance and sharing your experiences. It was a really useful session. More specifically, Shanti ma'am started off with the importance of choosing art auditing as a part of our work of line and initially, and she also shared the type of questions asked in her interview. It was really informative, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank Shyam sir for sharing the importance of using online platforms like LinkedIn to grow our professional connections and benefits and career growth that we can achieve in Deloitte. Next, Bhagavati sir shared about the placements in KPMG and the contents of his interview. Also, I would like to thank him for sharing his contact. Thank you, sir. Last but not least, Rahul sir spoke about those things which we as students would like to hear through a Google form. I think it was very innovative and it was very helpful, sir. You also spoke about the importance of communication and the type of firm to choose for articleship. It was really useful. Thank you all once again. Now the session is open for any queries. Please use the chat box to post your questions.
I'm sorry, can you guys see my screen? Yeah, if you guys want to contact me, you can contact with this mail ID. I am open to questions as well. Thanks.
Guys, if you have any queries, you can post them in the chat box.
So there is one query which is raised by Sri Charan. So can you please elucidate the scope of innovations in Big Four companies?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. I'll take that up. Shyam here. So, there's a lot of scope for innovation in Big Four companies. So, for example, to say I work in a center of excellence in Deloitte, wherein we spend on a lot of money and time on how to automate our processes. So, if you get into audit, it does not just mean that you're into audit. You'll have all the scope of innovations. There's a separate team for data analytics. So, every Big Four that you probably get into would spend so much on innovation so that make audit easier. 10 years back, we were still using paper platform to sign everything. Now everything is into PDF. So everything is getting transitioned to electronically, as well as there is a huge amount of money being spent on the technological area. There is separate service line and assurance called technology assurance, wherein they'll take up all these ideas. They'll see if it's meeting the business need, if it's cost efficient and everything. And people even have teams getting awards of 1 lakh and more for giving all these ideas to the company, so that the company can benefit from all these technological improvements that they can implement on audits or consulting or whichever service line for that matter. So scope of innovation for any Big Four is very huge. It's a very good space to get into. But again, as a starter, if you don't have an IT degree, it's a little difficult for you to get into that innovation sector at first go. But if you again go into audit and then you get in touch with all professionals there in those service lines, and if they are also interested in the right business opportunity, you'll easily be able to try the technology assurance part. And if you're interested, you can get yourself certified, be compliant with that service line, and then enhance your knowledge. There's always scope for growth in any Big Four that you join. So I think it's a great question. And again, most of the revenue that Deloitte or any other Big Four spends are majorly on technology improvements and innovations. So yeah, you have very huge scope.
Thank you, sir. I think the questions are, that's it. So as the session comes to an end, sir, there's one more query. Anybody can answer.
For this question, you can definitely do that. But again, when you join a Big Four, you'd be probably considered as an entry level accountant or an auditor, or probably one step higher than that. But again, if you start from an audit firm and then go to an industry in your later stages, you're probably an audit manager here. You can probably go there as a senior manager. That's the power that audit has, because you'll have to have good client contacts. When you audit a firm, you'll know everything about the client. And if you're auditing in a client and then probably want to go to the same client and then switch to an industry, you can easily do that for a very higher role and a better pay and better prospects. Because if you be in as a, if you're a manager in an industry and then want to come to audit, you'll probably be taken at the senior level. But if you're a manager in a Big Four and then you go to an industry, you'll be taken at the senior manager level. So that's the kind of growth that a Big Four gives you in the earlier stages of your career. As well as, like, if you want to grow to a partner level Big Four, it probably require you an investment of 15 years in the firm. But again, it definitely would be worth it, because you'll probably have all the opportunities that you need. You can head a service line and whatever you want. Like, all those flexibilities are being provided in any Big Four as well. So yeah, that is how your industry experience in the beginning would differ from any Big Four experience that you might have probably from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, Taran, I can answer your question that is it okay to get into a practice after a short span of time in Big Four? Yeah, I think that would be a great idea, that you would have seen a particular group of industries, and you'll have wider range of experience, such that you can start into a practice and it will help you out. Most probably, like, this experience that you gain in a corporate won't be the same when you're doing practice, because that would be at a higher level. But if you learn something from them, like as to how to be systematic, how to be professional, how to express yourself, how to and how to communicate, and how to deliver the deliverables to the client, or um, to be establishing a very good contact with the client, that will really helpful for you to get into a practice after a short span of time at Big Four.
Yeah. Uh, okay. Answering to Ramalakshmi. Yeah. The factors which you should majorly consider while choosing a firm for articleship is, to be very frank, the 3 years which you're going to do, you have to do a self analysis of how much you're interested in spending your time in your articleship period. Because majorly we would be concerned about clearing the exams, and the experience would suffice to just get you into a firm. But others would be much more interested in getting into a firm and learning all the different types of work which is present in articleship. So it all depends upon what you want at that stage of life. But if you ask me, it is always better to have a balance. You should not go into a very high pressure environment, and at the same time put the pressure on yourself to perform well in your exams also. That will definitely create a mental stress. But if you're ready to work like that, I'll say well and good, because those experience will gain you so much of knowledge, as well as so much of contacts. Like, if you're going into a firm which is like a big firm and which has major contacts across different industries, that will get you contacts further in your articleship period, which will help you later on at your point in your life. Yeah. So it depends upon what you want to do, like what is your point of priority at that time.
As the session comes to an end, I would like to welcome Deeksha of class 3rd BCom PAA to propose the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is the best attitude. I repeat, gratitude is the best attitude. Good evening, all. Has all good things come to an end in life? So, like this seminar, on behalf of PSG College of Arts and Science, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this seminar. At the outset, I thank our chief guest. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. We are thankful to our managing trustee and our secretary for their motivation. I would like to thank our principal, our vice principal for their enthusiastic support. A special thanks to our head of the department and Dr. Gunaseelan, Department of Tamil and other teaching and non-teaching staffs for their coordination. And heartfelt thanks to my friends for active participation. With these words, we move on to end of today's seminar. Last but not the least, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone. Thanks a lot, Shantini and Shyam and Rahul and Bhagavati for your precious time spent with our students. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you, Pa.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a happy weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahul and Bhagavati. Thank you for your MC Deeksha and Jayashree, Tanusha
Yeah,
and Satya.
thanks to the MCs also. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And Gunaseelan sir, ரொம்ப thank you. ரொம்ப thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Shall we wind up? Kalaichelvi ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Wind up, ma'am. We can wind up the session.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Kalai ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, Rahul sir. Thank you.
Chalo, okay.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Suganoli ma'am. Kalai Selvi ma'am.